To welcome in Kathy Helbig of Experienced Real Estate Partners. Of course, as always, you can expect to be moved with her. We've got her phone number on the screen. Kathy Helbig. Hey, friend, how are you doing?
Hey,
Happy Wednesday.
Good. Thank you. It was a little fun drive in the rain. You know, St. Louis can't drive in the rain. So
oh my God.
Isn't that
Don't get
true?
oh my God, Tabitha's gonna lose her mind.
Oh my gosh, Kathy.
Yeah.
And all the car chases that are going on now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
People
what's the
can't
worst-
drive anyway.
What
No,
was
they
your
can't.
what was your worst experience today?
Today it was just 40 like a parking lot because nobody knows how to just keep moving when
That's
it's
right.
sprinkling.
Well,
Bunch
it's
of
worse in the
idiots.
sun. You come over a hill with the
Oh, I
sun in your
know.
face.
Although I've had that happen before, and you are literally blind for
Yeah.
30, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. I've
Yes.
the drive to the lake on Highway 70.
Yes.
Sometimes like you peak this one certain area and it is
Mhm.
blinding.
It's
So,
exactly
People are already excited to talk to you, Kathy.
Yay.
Any earth-shattering news in the last week? Anything that you went,
not a
oh my
whole
God.
lot. Not a whole lot has changed since last week, although this is expected to be one of the last weeks before we start seeing the inventory uptick.
That's
So-
my first. You beat me to the
Well,
headline.
I knew you'd have all kinds of questions.
So I knew a realtor really, really well, and she said that the inventory is non-existent right now.
In St. Louis, because I'm talking nationally, St. Louis, it is a little bit tight still. I expected to see maybe 500 plus listings this week, and it was like 360.
Why is that?
Wow.
Is that just because
Interesting.
realtors suggest? I always wondered this. This is a great question.
Mhm.
Do you guys sit your client down and go, we're not listing right now. We're going to list on this day because we're going to have more offers faster and more expensive. We're going to keep your value of your house up. Because I always wondered, I was always told that the best time to buy a house is mid-December because no one's looking for houses.
Mhm.
Is that correct or is that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So it is the best time to get a better deal on a house
Okay.
if you're a buyer because there is less inventory. The seller is starting to get a little nervous.
Okay.
Like it could be cold. We're going to have snow. Am I going to sell? The holidays are coming up. So typically you can negotiate a better deal as a buyer
Okay.
in December or January.
Right.
However, you also have the least amount of inventory on the market. So it's all in what you're looking for. There's always a yes and no answer to
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
To your prior question,
Mhm.
do real estate agents sit people down and say, now's the time or not the
Yes.
time? That again is depending on your real estate agent.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this is a business that it has a pretty low barrier of entry to get into. And there's thousands and thousands of people out there that maybe don't have the experience to have those type of conversations.
Right.
So
You're like lawyers for houses.
It's true.
Mhm.
And it's literally like, I need a sale, so it's time for you to list. And
Ooh.
that's definitely not. the
So
way to
did
go
you
about
say
it.
it was 350 total homes for sale
I
in
think
the
it was
St. Louis throughout the St.
368
Louis
or
metro?
Brutal.
370.
I just looked the
And
other
then
day.
Now I'm not talking the way outskirts, but
Yeah.
in my MLS, I have like a hot sheet every day I look at, and I have it set up to be like the general St. Louis, St. Charles surrounding areas.
That's
just
it?
to kind of see.
350-ish?
Yeah, there's only 78 coming soon, which is really low, really low.
I looked the other day and I saw exactly that. Now, Kathy, when it comes to people who are looking to invest in real estate,
Yes.
that's such a big deal right now. My parents have been investors in real estate forever.
Mhm.
What do you recommend someone do if they're saying, hey, I would like to buy a piece of real estate right now as an investment property? What would be your advice?
I would definitely not try to do it by yourself. Make sure you connect with an agent that has some investment property experience because you do want to make sure, first of all, we need to find out, are you buying it to flip it? Or are you buying it to hold it?
Right.
Because those are two different animals.
Absolutely.
So, depending on what kind of margins have to be in there.
Yeah.
So that's the number one question. What is your long-term plan for this property? And then the agent should be able to put you in front of properties that are going to fit your needs, your budget, and also make sure that, we're hopefully setting you up for a win on the investment side.
And loans as well, because there's different
Yes.
types of loans you can take out for, because I was just reading a story last night and I don't know how this works exactly, where if you're looking to buy an investment property, sometimes you can get certain types of loans where you don't have to have the same qualifications,
right?
Because it's an investment property. I guess the loan is based on the income that's expected to come in.
Correct. Yeah, and I don't specialize in the loan side of that, but that is definitely an option. There's also seller financing. There's credit lines that people get. There's all kinds of different ways, but usually you've got to put a little bit more down on an investment property
Yeah.
So you need to be prepared to have some money.
Mm.
If you're a newbie in the game, you don't have a line of credit that you can borrow from. So you're going to be expecting to put a little bit more down.
You can always get in contact with Kathy Helbig, 314-276-SOLD, 314-276-SOLD. Kathy, how long have you been doing this now?
25 years.
I mean,
It's hard to believe that it's been 25 years.
Time
That's
flies.
That's why
crazy.
you're the expert.
Time flies.
are you
I
seeing things
agree.
happen right now that you've never seen before?
I am, even maybe my ear wasn't to the ground as much back through the first real estate bubble that we had. But just yesterday, I'm not going to say names, but the word came out that 2 real estate offices shut down in the St. Louis area.
Oh,
I know
no.
there's a huge luxury real estate company that's in the headlines every single day. Like
Okay.
they're on the, they're constantly laying off. It's just been really,
Just
really
because
hard.
luxury isn't going selling?
No, just real estate in general has been hard.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, because I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, if your numbers aren't down, you're one of the lucky ones. Because if you think about it, if you normally have 5,000 houses to sell and you only have 3,000 houses to sell,
Yeah.
your numbers are going to be down,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then when we had the market go crazy, you had everybody that rushes into real estate too.
Yeah.
So now they're taking those normal houses that you would sell off your plate because somebody's got a brother, a sister, an aunt, and uncle that's dabbling in real estate. So it becomes tough to make it sometimes through these
Mhm.
stretches. And that's where we do see a cleansing of the industry. Even Wells Fargo announced, like a lot of mortgage companies are suffering after the rates that have the way they
Oh, that's
skyrocketed
brutal.
last year. And Wells Fargo announced this week that they're getting out of correspondent lending. So it's still a rocky road.
Let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Vic said that Wells Fargo has a program where they're not lending to anybody but
That's the
African
correspondent.
Americans.
Oh, I don't know about
Is that right? Was that what
I
you just
didn't
said?
say
I
that.
don't know about that.
That they were
You know,
going-
they
didn't
just have
say that.
they have relaxed lending standards, but that's Bank of America.
Okay.
Bank of America. So they're actually putting race. They're attaching race.
Equity.
Equity.
It's about
Yeah.
equity.
Is that? Do you ever? You ever?
I
heard
haven't
about
heard
that?
about that.
If
So.
you want a mortgage, you get a mortgage, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But certain banks are kind of looking a little bit more into the woke culture. It seems like.
I
Do
would
you
think
see
so.
that?
Yes. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Hey,
brutal.
by the way, if anybody has any questions for Kathy, we also give you a chance to do that as well. You can just jump in on our comment line, do that as well. Let us know, canceltheshow.com. And if you want to get in contact with Kathy personally, you can do that as well. As always, the phone number is 314-276-SOLD. It's 314-276-SOLD. I was curious, Kathy, when you look at the inventory that you talk about that's out there right now, 350-ish or so, and then you look at how many realtors there are. Do you have any idea roughly how many realtors there are in our St.
Last I
Louis metro
looked,
area?
it's probably between the St. Louis board and the St. Charles board of 14 to 15,000
Holy
real
cow.
estate agents.
And there's 350-ish
And
homes.
those
in
are
it?
that
Oh my
those are
goodness.
that belong to the board. So then there's
Oh.
commercial real estate agents.
Right.
There's the real estate agents that don't participate in the National Association of Realtors.
Yeah.
They don't. Like I have a referral company, so those agents don't have to join the board. They put them all on referral, and they can refer business in.
So this is easy. This is if you're a new homeowner, it's easy. You go and get McBride and Sons to build you one, right? That's your option.
That
So
is that has definitely
so-
been why the builders took off over the last 2 years because there wasn't options out there. However,
Mhm.
then there was the challenges of, I mean, just like the resale homes that were having the bidding wars, the builders were also like doing lotteries on their lots. They got to the point where they had so many people, or some of them, I shouldn't say in general all of them, but some of them got to the point where they were really just kind of picking and choosing who they wanted to work with. Like they were going to slot the
Mhm.
certain people first because they had such a line of people waiting to build that it was a year and a half out to just build a regular track home
Yeah.
house in a subdivision. It's different if custom homes can sometimes take that long. But generally speaking, all the new construction I did before the pandemic change in real estate took 4 to 6 months to build a house.
And if you're a real estate company and you only got 300 units of inventory, I mean, don't you have to come with alternative methods of getting
Yes.
people into houses?
Yes.
And what are those?
That's why I said the lending thing. The lending thing is really what slowed it down. So not having inventory first is a problem. So you have to have the wherewithal to keep going, and you have
Mhm.
to have the experience on how to craft your offers.
Mhm.
And that's something that I saw in the very beginning was that agents were blindsided on how to do that because
Yeah.
no one has really lived through a market like this. We had multiple offers. back before the first bubble, but not to this extent,
Right.
like 2 or 3, you
Right.
know, I never before this had 25, 30 offers to sort through.
Right.
And, you know, people were like, oh, it's easy to be a listing agent. Well, trust me, I'd much rather have been a listing agent through this than a buyer agent because
No kidding.
that was taxing. But it was also super taxing because you're dealing with people's emotions, and you do have 30 different offers that nothing is exactly the same. So
Right.
you have to sort through, sit down with your seller, talk about, you know, the terms that are most important, because it's not always price. And a lot of times then people were losing so much that they started playing games.
Right.
So then it was trying to game the system of being the one that gets picked so that you can breathe for a second and take a minute as a buyer, make some choices. So what we started seeing is tricks like, okay, I'll come in really high. So you've got all these offers that are kind of in this similar area, and then you've got this outlier that's really high. Well, if you're the seller, you've got an offer that's $20,000 or $30,000 more, you're going to want to take it, right?
Absolutely.
So they some of them were buying their way into first position. Then what happens? They get to the building inspection phase and like, oh, well, you know, it needs some window seals and it's got, you know, some downspouts. So we want a $30,000 credit for those items.
Right.
So then the seller's like, why? You know, get upset. Now you either got to put it together or you got to go back on the market. And so those type of gaming things were happening last year, and agents weren't prepared for that. They weren't prepared for writing solid offers. And it made me sick to my stomach, really, because as a big listing agent, I would see all of those offers sit in front of me, which is also what made us and our team that much better, because based on our own experience, we had some, you know, tricks up our sleeve, but then we get to see everybody else's tricks. Then you would know, this is a good one, this is a bad one, this language is good, this language is bad. But it really was sickening to me that people don't realize a lot of people lost their opportunity on their dream home because they didn't have the right agent.
Yeah.
That makes
and the
sense.
agent made major mistakes on the offers.
Then
like
you
don't know
You
that.
have to live
don't
with
know
that.
But if you're looking on Zillow, and that is the
Mm-hmm.
you agents hate Zillow, don't you?
Why?
Yes.
You guys
It's a
hate
brokerage now,
Zillow.
so we can't talk bad about other brokers.
Okay, well you hate
Yes.
Zillow, but if you're
you
young,
can say I hate Zillow.
well, yeah, if you are looking for your dream house and all of a sudden, boom, there it is on Zillow, you're at the mercy of who Zillow calls for you, aren't you? If you,
Kinda.
I think that's the way it works.
So here's the way it works. Zillow, it's evolved over the years, but Zillow originally started off with selling advertising space to a certain amount of agents.
Okay.
So you could buy the share of the zip code, basically. So you could
Mhm.
plan out your zip codes. And then when somebody would hit on a house on Zillow, it would kind of bury who the listing agent's name was. Like it would be way over here. And then there'd be 3 or 4 agents lined up next to it that were the advertising agents.
Right.
And you would just automatically click on one thinking, oh, that's an agent. I'm going to ask them. So that's how it all started. Then those calls were routed directly to us.
Okay.
So people like me that had a big marketing budget, we could buy a bunch of zip codes, and we did really well with that. So in essence, what's happening is Zillow was taking, or companies like Zillow, not just Zillow, those portal companies take the public information from Maris, our copywriting, like we have to write all those remarks and that type of thing. They had worked out deals with the MLSs to subscribe over time. So they're taking our work product, our pictures that we pay for,
Yeah.
put them on their portal,
Oh, of course.
get a hit, and then sell us the lead back.
Ooh.
That's
Think about
crazy.
it. In essence, that's what happened. So that's how it worked for years and years and years. And then the people with the most money just capitalized on on Zillow. Then over time, they changed their program because so many agents are poor at following up.
Ooh.
And this is so true.
Okay.
So according to Zillow, they didn't want to be known as, well, I tried to reach out and nobody got back to me on your site.
Yeah.
I hit that agent up. They never called me. So over time, they changed it to be, if you didn't rank so high with Zillow internally on your analytics, how fast did you get back to those people? Are you using our app? Are you updating their information? Did you close the deal?
Yeah.
If you weren't one of those agents, you started going down the ranks on how many leads you got. Your opportunities went away to just go buy.
Wow.
Okay. So now they want to make sure, now they're working on a referral fee basis.
Yeah.
So they cut out pretty much all the agents that they don't have to worry about they're going to get back to them or not. They're only going to work with the agents that have the best response rates and the highest conversions because now they're collecting a 35 plus referral fee
Wow.
for every lead that comes through.
Wow. And it's not a scam.
No,
it's not a scam.
it's
It's
a marketing
just
company.
It's the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kathy, a lot of people I come across, they say, you know what? I'm not going to pay a real estate agent a commission. I'm just going to place the house on the market myself.
Mhm.
The market's hot. I'm going to throw a for sale sign up. I'm going to put my house on Zillow and I will save myself money. Now, I try to explain to them that it doesn't really work that way.
It
Can
does
you
not work that
elaborate
way.
on
And
this?
statistics prove it does not work that way. What, especially in this past market, and you would think, on the surface level, that sounds like a great idea. Anybody can sell a house right now, right? That's kind of the market we went through. And in essence, yes. But what can you sell it for? And how are you going to get that to the closing table? That's the key. And what sellers did by doing for sale by owner, they lost the experience of somebody like me that sees all those other offers,
Mhm.
that can give them tips and advice, and that could
Yeah.
work their contract up into a higher price or potentially peel off contingencies for them that they didn't have the experience or even they didn't know what they didn't know.
Yeah.
And so they're happy that they got list price, but what if I would have got $50,000 more from them because we were?
Yeah, great
And
point.
that's what they don't get. So
Yeah.
it's very short-minded. And quite frankly, the buyer is kind of paying that in the price. So you're not necessarily really bearing that whole weight of the commission. It is everybody involved.
Well,
that.
in the end, you have such a wider market that you
So
could
much
potentially get them more
So much
money
more
than what they would
people,
have saved on
the
commission.
experience to know when you can push, when you can raise prices, and also just creating the bidding war situation. So with us, we came out with this whole bringing out kind of top secret first, expose it to each other, then you put it in coming soon. Nobody can get in to see it. So it creates this frenzy effect.
Mhm.
Then you open it up and you're going to let everybody come in these 3 or 4 days, but we're not accepting any offers because that was a big problem in the very beginning when the market first started to tip. The problem is you list a house on Friday, first person to walk through the door, write an offer, be sold by Friday at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So nobody else got in and got the opportunity. And that's what kept the market from going too crazy with the price runs. So once we got wise to why are we letting not giving enough people time to walk in, and also we would see some buyer's remorse from people that felt like they had to move right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's when we kind of started this whole, we're going to start showings on Wednesday or Thursday. We're not going to look at offers until Monday.
Mhm. What about the institutional?
Eric, hold on. We've got questions. You keep jumping in.
No, but it was pertinent to
I
what you
know,
were saying.
but Eric-
Now I'm going to forget. Don't worry about it.
No, we've got a million questions
Okay,
from
sorry.
our listeners, and they're all just wanting to jump in. Unless we keep Kathy for another hour.
There you go.
And
So
then,
it's a podcast. We don't have anyone to answer to.
well, it's Kathy's time.
Yeah, I'm
It's
good.
not
She's
all-
good.
good.
Look at
I'm
her. We're
good.
going in 2
Yeah,
hours.
okay.
with Kathy Helbig.
11 months on the market. Somebody said across the street from their house
Mhm.
for sale by owner
Mm.
for 11 freaking months. Said
Count up that mortgage,
So they say
your
get
carrying costs.
a pro
Yes.
to do a pro's job,
Mhm.
which is what you have. Also, a question from one of our listeners. Obviously, we're a national podcast. A lot of our listeners are in the St. Louis area. Kathy, somebody wants to know, do you have any construction sites open in the Cottleville, Missouri area that somebody could be looking at as well?
Oh, Cottleville is so sought after, and there's been one that's been coming forever and a day, and it's still not here yet. I don't know. I think it's something to do with the zoning and planning of that one that's right off.
It was
the
just
highway
somebody
in.
that wants to
But
live
no,
there, I guess.
I don't have anything up my sleeve yet, but definitely check back with us because we have several of our agents that live in Cottleville. So as soon as we hear something, we can get you up to date.
All right,
Just shoot a message to me that you're looking for new construction sites in Cottleville,
Eric.
and we'll put you on our radar.
No,
What was that
yeah,
question,
Cottleville is fantastic. What is I've seen a few people comment. Do people look at the crime rates in areas? I mean,
Some.
I think that's an important thing to look at now, don't you? I mean, I remember when I moved back to St. Louis, I knew that there was a few areas that you're just not. But
If you know how
now-
to read them, because they can be shocking. And then you got to compare. You got to do comparatively, not just like look at one and be like, oh my God, I'm freaked out. I'm not going to ever leave my house. Same with sex offenders.
That can be very
Wow.
confusing.
I've looked that
I
up
didn't even
before
think about
too.
that.
I've looked
It
it
can be
up.
very
Eric.
See how many
Wow.
sex offenders show up.
I
isn't it?
look all the time, and it doesn't matter where you live. There is usually a pretty lengthy list,
There's red dots all over the place.
and you have to map it out.
But no, this is an important question because in Winghaven we have a home entry the other night.
A home invasion.
We just had an incident on Highway 70 and Wentzville Parkway. We had
You'd be surprised. Very few people ask that. Now, do they research it on their own? Because really, we have to turn them back to themselves. Go look it up. Go to this website. Or
I think it's a fair question in
But-
St. Louis
but
now.
It is, but very few.
Where's it
people
moving to?
ask
you know?
that. Mostly
Good.
people that are moving in from out of St. Louis want to know, probably because you've heard St. Louis crime rate and
I mean,
the
fluorescent's a good
headlines.
example of that because fluorescent, you would have thought, and back in the day, it was not the safest place to go.
Right.
Now they've done a lot of good cleanup up there, and maybe that is a place that you might want to go look at because they're taking care of their crime situation. They're developing things out there. So if I came into your office, the
Personally,
first
you
thing
would.
I'd be going,
Yep.
I like this house. What's the crime like?
I would say my experience is 1 out of 60
Really?
Oh, wow.
that asked that.
Kathy, somebody else wants to know if anybody's moving into the area since you just said that.
Yes.
Is there a general area or is there a state in the country where more people are moving from or that
I
you're
just
hearing
heard
from?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's a follow-up.
No,
I
Clearly,
don't have the background of why.
We
but
don't
I
know
just saw
why.
a headline that said Hartford, Connecticut is the darling right now.
how about
Isn't that crazy?
But people are moving out of this state more than they're moving into it, correct?
I mean, I don't have the statistics on it. I definitely move people out every year, but we have an equal amount that we're seeing, come in as well.
Okay.
So
People are, I'm sure, moving back and forth.
yeah.
I
it's
know.
affordable. Like people move here because it's been
Absolutely
an
it
affordable
is.
area. Even with our increases lately, we really were kind of below average on the we were one of the better states for
Mhm.
affordability to live as St. Louis for the long time.
I have an answer for that, but I'm not going to say it.
Kathy, is
I'm
it
not going to
still
say it.
a master bedroom or is it a primary bedroom?
I'm old school. And so,
we talked
so
about this
I
yesterday.
know-
Kathy,
did.
this was a topic yesterday.
Does it?
I was like, what? I was
say
doing my hair.
both
What?
because only when I catch myself, when we go to type it up, we've been switching to primary or luxury. But
Come on.
it's
Isn't that
ingrained
silly?
in
I'll
me
say it.
forever that
To
it's
us,
a
it's
master
silly.
bedroom.
Of course. And there's
To us, it's
nothing wrong with
silly.
saying
No,
it
and
that
it's
way.
not
To us Gen
said
X's,
in
that's
ill-
ridiculous.
What is it?
To us Gen X's, that's ridiculous.
Well, we started way back with his and her closets. We had to.
Well, what's
Okay.
wrong with
Time
that?
ago. Because who's
Eric.
to say it's a his and a her?
So now it's
Right.
his and his, or hers and hers.
Dual vanities, dual
I
closets. Like
Didn't even realize
Yeah.
that.
I'm so
Oh my
old.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
Would a
old.
realtor be canceled if they said something incorrectly?
yes, sir.
Would they
been-
really?
There's been some realtors canceled out there for some
Because of
things, yeah.
what? Because
Not
they
me yet, thank God. No.
no,
Well,
seriously.
not only that, but
No.
addressing people. I know
Yeah.
in my job, I have groups of people I have to address,
Mhm.
and I'm never sure if I should say Miss,
Yeah.
Ma'am, sir.
Salutations are dead, aren't
Mhm.
they? Salutations are
It's
dead.
but it's hard to address people
Yeah,
when you
it
don't
is.
know.
It really
Yeah.
is.
No,
Yeah.
I get that. Kathy, would you still suggest being a real estate agent at this point in time? I mean, because here's the thing. We know there's ups and downs and all arounds in a lot of industries, specifically real estate.
Yes. Here's what I suggest about real estate when I talk to people that are thinking about getting into the business, because their problem is a lot of times people are attracted to real estate for the wrong reason.
Okay.
They're attracted for the flexibility
And the
They're
money.
attracted for money. They think it's glamorous, and I
And the
can tell you,
headshots.
Little do they know.
on all
The
of those.
headshots. You said the
The
headshots.
headshots.
the glamour shots,
Yeah.
man. Come on.
Look at that picture behind you.
Yeah.
My God,
That's
you
a
look like you
beautiful
should
photo.
be on a TV show.
So yeah.
Do you
what-
pay
what
for
was
your
that question?
people's glamour shots?
Do I pay for?
Yeah.
I have.
Oh,
I pay
okay.
for
I was
it.
scared.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about
Yeah.
getting into real estate.
I'm
So
sorry.
the question would be, the answer would be, are you willing to really work, and can you work self-motivated? Can you go home and be disciplined and get up and make yourself do income producing things every single day? Because most people are getting into the real estate business coming from a 9-to-5er, and they think it sounds great for them, but they don't have the wherewithal to buckle down and make it happen,
Mhm.
because you do have to prospect. Also, do you have a network? Like sometimes somebody moves into a new town, like, I'm going to get into real estate. I don't know a soul.
Yeah.
It can happen. I see people have very, very much success that, but they're drivers, and even if they're not an extrovert, they have to make themselves be an extrovert, and they have to go out and network, because that is
So-
the biggest thing, is relationships in real estate.
So to me, I always think outside the box. If I was to get in that industry, tell me I'm wrong. Vic, don't look at me like that. I wouldn't want to sell inventory. I would go, let's find you a plot of land. let's go through the development. I'm not going to be McBride and says I'm not building a subdivision for you, but I might build you a barn dominium. I might.
We're back to the barn
Okay,
dominiums.
okay,
You
all
brought
right.
that up.
Hold on.
Not the barn
fine.
dominium again.
I'll brand myself then. Who cares? But maybe I'll go out and I will be a consultant to get someone the house that they actually want. It might take a little more time, but I might actually save you money. And I will be the one hand holding you. And then I don't have to worry about any other realtors or anything else. Is that a possible?
You're hired.
Could you do an
It
alternative?
sounds great.
An alternative to
And do people do that in certain areas? I'm sure they do. I don't see that much in St. Louis. Here's the problem. If you're not selling something that is a package, you
Mhm.
generally end up getting cut out of the deal as a realtor because everybody's trying to save a buck. So what you're looking at is you're going to make money on the land sell to
Okay.
them. So you're
Okay.
going to, and that's the lowest amount.
What about the contract to get someone to work with you?
So you have them, but they don't abide by them, and then you got to chase lawsuits and things like
Okay,
that. So generally,
okay.
what happens with custom builds
Mhm.
is that you sell them. You do need to get into a contract,
Right.
but it's hard to get people to agree to that, especially when they don't know who they're using as a builder yet, because
Gotcha.
you're in the whole due diligence phase with them.
Okay.
So you're going to help them buy the lot. We had this with somebody
Yes.
They had a lot. They helped them buy, and the plan was that
Okay.
she was going to help them build a house as well.
Mhm.
Well, they ended up talking to some other builders. She'd connected them with some builders, but they also talked to some other builders. They stopped calling back. Their one contract expired because they'd already bought land on it. So there needed to be another contract put into place because
Okay.
it had an endpoint. And so they ended up building with a builder that she didn't introduce him to. So then that builder's
Yeah.
going to cut you out and go, no, you didn't bring
Oh.
him to me. So there's no commission built into the deal.
Yeah.
So now what looked like was going to be an $800,000 sale ended up being $100,000.
Very
land
disappointing
sale.
when that
It was
happens.
very
Mm.
disappointing.
What about modular homes? Don't they still have companies that do modular,
They
build them
just
on
don't-
site and then
you
deliver
don't
them?
see that as much in St. Louis, and they are at lower price points.
Okay.
Well, now, when you move into the barn dominium phase of your business, are you going to hire Eric?
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
salesperson.
Yeah.
I'll write you a song about it.
Yeah.
We'll do a jingle.
Yes.
Eric needs to start a tiny home barn dominium.
Hey,
Speaking
don't
of
put
little
it-
trends,
I'm telling you what, they're cool as hell, Tabitha.
they
Except
are
for in a
kinda
tornado.
cool. I drove by one I thought was one, but ended up being an actual barn the other day. I was thinking of you.
Yeah.
What do you think the top 3 trends are right now for luxury?
Condominiums in penthouses in Clayton.
I mean, like features in
Oh.
a house.
A bidet? No, I'm
Pool.
kidding.
I love
I
bidets.
actually saw that online one day.
I want a dual bathroom, not just dual.
So
Maybe a chef's kitchen.
items in a house.
Mhm.
Fish tanks.
I'm lost.
I would like a
Oh,
big,
I don't
beautiful
know.
chef kitchen.
Okay. How about
It's got to
pool?
be something.
How about
like
just a
that.
pool?
It's
I
probably
keep- you
something
didn't make the
really
top
weird.
3. None of your
Sunken
people-
living
3-car
rooms.
garage.
It's not. It's not
4-car
weird.
garage.
No, first of all, it's outdoor space,
Oh,
living
yeah, that's a
space.
good
Yeah.
one.
So you're looking at pools, fire pits, patios,
Yeah.
lighting, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Very,
Mhm.
very, according to Sotheby's.
That
this
makes
is the-
sense.
one of the top 3 things. It was also wine cellars.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can
I
see
would like
that.
to have
Like
a wine
literal
cellar.
wine cellars
could
with the
definitely see that.
door and the refrigeration and whatnot.
Yep.
So I know
Yep.
people who have some very beautiful wine cellars in their home.
Yeah.
I
it's
can see that.
all
See, I'm
mahogany.
not thinking luxury enough.
Yes.
Exactly.
yes.
Mm.
What was my
That
other
does
one?
sound like
It was-
luxury.
hang
There's
on,
no
what's the
doubt
other
about
one?
that.
It was wine cellars.
Uh huh.
What am I looking- Oh, this is my favorite. Massage rooms.
Really?
Yes. I actually, well, you know, my basement bathroom, when we built it, I built it out big enough to be able, we
You
put
put a
in
pool
steam
table in there.
shower,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we made it big enough to be able to set up a massage table
Nice.
So
That
you would,
makes
to have
sense.
in-home massage.
so you would have people coming in to give you massages there.
Yeah. Those are the top 3 luxury
I
items.
would
according to
want to put an Emo's pizza in my kitchen. Would that be possible? Have
Sure.
two workers a day come in and make me Emo's
Absolutely.
pizza.
Absolutely.
Are there any houses around St. Louis that have a fly-in, the runway? What do they call those communities? The airport, and then your house is
Landing
there.
strips.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Eric.
They have them in. I've been in cities that do have them.
yeah,
They're really
I
cool.
haven't seen one, but I'm sure there's
Let's
a
make
couple.
one. Let's make one.
Let's do
I
it.
mean,
Come on,
on your
inventory's low.
barndominium lot.
Yes, barn dominiums and a
The
runway.
lake has several houses with helicopter pads. On
I've
their
seen-
dock.
Yeah,
I've seen
helicopters
some.
or schmelicopters.
And
I'm
they're
talking about
Landing
fixed
strip.
wing.
You're like, you want the whole runway.
Yeah.
Kathy, I know we don't have too much more time, but when you people are looking at a home, what room is the most important to them? Is it the kitchen? Is it the restroom, the bedroom?
Can I take a guess?
Mhm.
Kitchen.
For
Yep.
me, it would be.
Kitchen, master bedrooms are the two, because it's the adult that's spending the money, right?
Right.
And then, of course, the layout of the house is the floor plan pleasing? Is it open? And like, some people are getting away from the big open concepts.
I've heard that
right
people
now.
are wanting
Starting
more.
to get more.
You know why? Because it's
So
just
you've been home
way
so much lately,
way too much group time.
Oh,
He's right.
gosh, it is.
and noise. There's
Yes.
noise too. So yes, definitely kitchens, yards, master bedrooms.
Great question from
Or
Glenn.
primary bedrooms. Sorry.
From Glenn.
Before you read the question, by
Yeah,
the way,
primary
if anybody knows, if you think you have a question, if you know anybody else, share the show. Let people know. Kathy Helbig, Real Estate Partners. The phone number 314-276-SOLD. 314-276-SOLD. Kathy can talk to you. Her team can talk to you if you have
Yes.
any questions, especially in a crazy market that it is.
Yeah, we're talking to, we used to talk to a bunch of representatives from Jeff City. What's the latest with property taxes? Have you heard? Because that would bring prices way down. You would think, not way down, but a few hundred bucks a month.
Every odd year as they're reassessed.
Yeah.
So get ready.
Is there any?
Because the comps are going to show that they can
Ooh.
increase those property taxes.
And that's the kind of thing that if you have
Majorly.
if you have a jumbo loan, you're looking at maybe few $100 more, correct?
Yeah.
A month.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The American dream. I mean, it's so sad. We've got to get rid of these property taxes
Mhm.
because we have to be able to have homeowners who can have that American dream. They can purchase their home
Yep.
and not have to pay exorbitant property taxes on top
Right.
of it.
Right.
Do you guys
Yeah.
work out in Shannon County, Missouri?
I have not. no.
You need to start an office
Personally.
out there. It's
All
the
right.
lowest property tax in the
Look
state
at
of
it.
Missouri.
And they got
We actually were
barndominiums.
just in St. Martin, and they don't have property tax. They charge a one-time 12% fee, and that's it.
That's it.
As it
You're
should
like,
be.
Huh, that's
That is
interesting.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to leave our listeners with today? Because we get a lot of Kathy. You're here every Wednesday now.
Yes.
If people have other questions,
Yeah,
save
send
them.
in
Let us
questions so we
know,
can talk about them next
and
week.
we can continue to talk. I mean, that was like 33 minutes, just
I
like
know.
that.
Do you feel like we're just like lobbing things at you?
I know. I'm like, I don't have to prepare much because we're going to go in a different direction anyway. So it doesn't
No,
matter.
it's
I love it. I love the back and forth chat about real estate.
Well, we learn a
the
lot.
bottom line is,
And I
young
might not have
Cal-
all the answers, but I'll.
well, no, I mean,
You do. You always have the
most
answers.
people that you deal with, they like a house they see on
Mhm.
Zillow or realtor.com. They come to you. You basically say, let's get you in that. I mean, that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Let's get you in that house, right?
Unless it's not like there's times I've talked people out of a house.
Wow.
You know, because ultimately, if you're
Mhm.
doing this as your career and you look at it truly as you're an advisor and not a salesperson,
Okay.
then there's times when you've got to talk clear to some people and understand, like, anytime you're dealing with a house that has some sort of a permanent negative attached to it. So it's sitting on top of a cliff looking at the highway, or something that you can never change,
Mhm.
but they're liking it because there's so much house, because that negative brought the value down. So now the house itself is standing above the rest of the ones you're looking at because it's got that attached. So I have to have those conversations like, okay, that's great. You're right. We are getting a lot of house running. Sometimes that is the right move for people. But remember,
Mhm.
when you call me in 5 years and we go to sell this, you're also going to have to present this house at a discounted rate,
Like a
just like you're
ghost?
getting it at,
Yes.
Have you dealt
compared to
with
the
I
competition.
was thinking that.
Because you've always got that negative attached, and that negative is going to wipe out 50% of the buying pool or more. They're going to go, I don't care what price, I would never buy a house that is sitting on a major highway.
Eric bought a
I
house that
wouldn't.
was haunted,
Yeah.
and then he sold it. And then we found out that Lizzie, who works with us, lived in the same home.
That is
Knew that it was
crazy. And
haunted,
knew it was haunted.
and
We'll have to talk about
and the
haunted
house
houses.
continues to be sold.
We invited
Wow.
him, but he didn't want to go. Like, this is my home.
I
man.
sold one accidentally. I didn't know, the seller didn't tell me until after.
Have you ever seen a ghost in one of these houses?
I'm
Come on.
not. I'm not.
No, if you know
Thank
something like
God.
that, do you have to disclose it?
No, not in Missouri.
Isn't that something?
That because it's bull crap. Anyway, back to the show.
Do you still live in the haunted house or what? No, you
I
sold it.
don't live in a haunted
Well, what if
house.
you had to disclose it?
I will say this though. I bought that house maybe 8 years ago at like 250,000. I
Mhm.
just looked online. It's a $410,000 house now.
Is it in Darting Prairie?
No, it's in what's the name of that subdivision? It's Park Charles.
Okay.
It's in Park Charles.
Is there
And
one in Darden we need
That's
to
the
know
one I
about?
sold was.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
then-
that is-
And you know how I found out? The buyer went to buy a new house, and she's like, "Can I bring in a like a medium or somebody during my inspection to make sure that the house, and I was like, what? I've never had this before.
Oh
And
my
she's
gosh.
literally brought in like a medium psychic to walk.
So if
through
you
the-
if you sold the Limp Mansion, you wouldn't have to say this place is haunted.
no, and plus it's public knowledge. It's all over.
Oh,
Yeah,
But you already know
no,
it's
in
haunted.
Missouri,
It's-
period. Missouri has a rule that is not only New York and a couple other states have required
because
that
it's
you
where
have to-
Ghostbusters lives. Is up
Yeah,
in New York.
that's right.
But that's
Bill.
such a big.
Nor
dark-
do you have to disclose deaths.
I was just going to say that because that's a new industry. Somebody on the comment line brought this up. The house in Idaho where the 4 students
Yes.
were murdered is getting ready to go back up for sale.
Yeah.
But dark tourism is such a big deal
Yeah.
right now. And there are people
Yeah.
who seek out homes like this
Right.
and will pay top dollar.
Stigmatized properties is what it's called. Yeah.
Is that what the official
Wow.
name is?
Mhm.
That's really wild.
And Kathy, one more question before we let you go today, coming from Jill Shemansky, wanting to know if Kathy could please share any knowledge of foreclosure sales at St. Charles County Courthouse. It would be great if she could speak to how pricing usually shakes out compared to the true value of the home. And
Yeah.
and we've got Kathy on
We'll
a
talk about that
weekly
next week, yeah.
basis too. Is
Shoot
that
us a
something?
message too, so again we can be on your radar that you're looking for St. Charles foreclosures.
Yeah, and let Kathy know 314-276 sold. Jill, I just saw that, and I apologize just because it's another massive topic that we'd
It is.
love to jump into it. We could do a whole show on the topics, and that's what we're going to be doing because we have Kathy here every Wednesday. We appreciate it. I've learned so much. I learned everything that I think that I could possibly know every
yet.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
and we'll continue
Keep
to.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, saying we'll find more. for
Kathy
next week.
Kathy Helbig, Experience Real Estate Partners. Expect to be moved. She is going to take care of you. Give her a call, 314-276. So Kathy, thank you again. Awesome
Thank
day.
you, everybody.
Very
All right.
nice. And look at that picture behind her. You don't. That's high
See,
dollar.
that's so much better than the old one.
You
I
see
was like,
that is a
"Oh,
good
I
picture.
They're all, but you
Talking about the
in person
picture
are even
on
more
her-
beautiful. But that's a
Thank
beautiful
I
photo.
mean, I've never had a headshot look like that. Mine is like, get this out of my face.
Your
Yeah.
headshot looks
I
like a
usually
microphone.
Don't like my photos, but they
Yeah.
they brought us. These are people in Nashville that work with like the music people, and we hired them to do our digital marketing.
Yeah, that's
and
album
stuff,
cover.
too.
That's in your-
It's out there
right
and
there.
Photoshopped
That
us.
backdrop is in your mansion, isn't it? Your
That was-
Tennessee
that was one of
mansion.
theirs. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Yeah,
That
That's
looks, I can
beautiful.
tell it looks gorgeous in the
Yeah.
background too.
Beautiful.
aspire, people, aspire.
Kathy, whenever you're comfortable, you can get up, take
All
off,
right, sounds
whatever.
good.
We'll take care
Because
of it.
I need
Thank
coffee.
Kathy
myself.
Helbig strict.
Every time she comes in, my head spins. I'm like, I got great ideas, and she's like, no, those are
You
great.
need your own show, Eric.
Those are stupid ideas.